Welcome to Almost Agreeable.
Almost Agreeable.
With your hosts, Chris Nellison and Ed Harris. Hang around and listen to opinions on sports, movies, music, and whatever else pops in our head.
Okay, and after a long break, welcome back to the Almost Agreeable podcast. You guys probably thought we were dead, but we're not dead.
Almost.
We're almost dead. We had a run-in with COVID.
Oops.
Essentially. And so we've been taking precautions and kind of taking a step back from the recording studio because we don't want to die. That's the goal. So, but we're back now. And
Quite the hiatus.
Yeah, we missed the entire playoffs.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. And, I had stuff. I can't just be talking shit. I don't even remember the first round was Super Wild Card weekend, right?
Yeah.
So it's I don't even remember what happened. Because so much has happened since.
There were 3 games apiece.
Yeah. Super wild. Can I just say, before we get into the Super Bowl, which is probably what we're going to talk about most today.
Yeah.
How much I loved Super Wild Card weekend. That was so much football. My wife hated it. I was public enemy number 1 in the house, but it was football days.
It felt like a regular Sunday. Of course, it was wild card, so it had a lot of implications for all these teams, but it felt like football, just a regular Sunday because it was 10 a.m. 1:30,
and then the evening game.
And then, yeah.
But the great thing, the difference is the great thing was that there was no coinciding games. I got to see every game.
I don't got to worry about Red Zone.
I don't got to fucking watch Red Zone. I don't got to be I don't want to watch that game too, or dual screen it up, or have it on my phone over here and that. But, we jump. I feel like we have to stay recent, and the most recent thing was the Super Bowl.
We could just do a cursory, hey, things happened for this team to get into, for both of these teams to get into the Super Bowl, and really it was no surprise that Kansas City was there.
I think that's the least surprising thing at all. I think we all called it, but at the same time, it was a close call for them in the divisional round.
Yeah.
Because Mahomes gets hurt, he goes out, and the Browns just had that was the opportunity for the Browns to do it. It would have always been asterisked, Mahomes got knocked out. But still.
Yeah. They were right there, and it could have happened, but it didn't. But this is the late half of the decade of the 2010s. It was just Golden State's going back to the finals. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
It was this is a kind of preconceived notion. Yeah, Kansas City's going to be right back there.
The Chiefs are too good.
But it was kind of up for grabs in the NFC, so to speak.
And I would say I agree with it being up for grabs, but to me, Tampa Bay wasn't on my radar. I will say this right now, I'll get this out of the way. I was wrong. Okay? All season I kept talking about how they were going to finish as a wild card, and they'd have to go on the road 3 times in the playoffs, and they could never do that. I think I said that 6 or 7 fucking times. And here I stand, corrected. So I am not Skip Bayless. I'm not doubling down. I was wrong. I fucked that up. But also, I wasn't alone in that thinking.
No, absolutely not. It was, a lot of things could have happened. Maybe any single one of those seeds could have made a deep playoff run. Any one of the wild cards could have made a deep playoff run. It ended up being Tampa Bay, and that's the one team that I said that could go into Lambeau and win, and they ended up doing it, handily.
And we say handily, and we forget that Brady threw 3 picks in the second half in that game.
It was gifted
to the bad man up in Green Bay.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad man,
right?
Well, if we're talking in the sense that he's bad,
he's bad, man.
He's bad man.
He's bad.
There's
man.
a comma in there.
Yeah.
That's what they've been saying all season. He's bad man.
He's bad, man. And yeah, Aaron Rodgers now 1-5 in NFC championships.
Yeah.
Or 1-4. It's not good.
It's not a winning record.
It's not a winning record.
And I guess for those listeners who like to dick ride Aaron Rodgers, it's a good thing that we missed the week after the championship weekend because this rant would go on way longer. We don't have time here.
We don't have time.
We might. I don't know. It depends. We'll see what happens when we get to the end of the time here. But I do have a lot to say about Aaron Rodgers, but I think I've already said it to the people that staunchly defended him not even minutes after that game ended.
Yeah. I
was getting texts from everybody. We strike nerves on this show.
It's just we just say the facts, you know.
Oh, now
he's just a bad man.
We're striking nerves again.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be getting hate mail, hate calls. I get hate text messages. So there's that. But moving on from the bad man, Tampa Bay went in, took care of business on the road in Lambeau, and then we get what I guess was maybe like an ideal, not ideal, but like a storybook kind of Super Bowl where it's like the future GOAT and the current GOAT. And could this be the passing of the torch? And I really wish we were talking about this before the game, and then now we had this episode. But thanks a lot, COVID. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But yes, let's pretend like the game hasn't been played yet. GOAT to suit your GOAT. Do we see a passing of the torch?
Yeah, and then that's what everybody was saying. Just like this is that iconic moment where you have the old legend who has all these accolades, and the new guy who has now won a Super Bowl. He's trying to repeat
and be the first player to do it since this GOAT.
Exactly. So that is a true handing of the torch, and that's what we're all expecting. Was maybe not a shootout, because we know Tampa Bay's defense was like, they were down the stretch. They didn't lose. I mean, like the last 9 games.
Yeah, they went on after they lost to Kansas City, actually.
Yeah.
Is when they started putting it together.
So last like 6 or 7 games, something like that. They didn't lose. So that's nuts. But so we didn't think it was going to be, like the Rams-Chiefs shootout from 2 years ago. But I was thinking it was going to be 30s.
Yeah, 34-27, 34-31.
Exactly. Something like that.
Around 64, 65 points scored in the game.
Yeah. Did not get that.
One of the teams scored 30 points.
Yeah.
And you think about that time they got stopped on 4th and goal right there. It could easily have been another touchdown.
Exactly. Like, that's what we were saying, when we were watching it. It was just like, do you go for this? And it's like, yeah, it's Kansas City. You got to go for this. You never know when they could strike. And the rest of the game, I mean, the entire game, that's the stuff we were waiting for. Like that 2-minute drive, 90-yard drive, and it just never came to completion.
Well, it helps when you want to do those kinds of things as a football team. It helps when your receivers catch balls.
Oh my goodness!
Like, I don't want to say. People that listen to this show know how I feel about the Chiefs, the hatred that boils deep in my soul. But I don't want to take away from the effort that Patrick Mahomes gave in this game and how well I think he could have played if motherfuckers were catching the ball.
If they're catching the ball, there's so many things. Like, yeah, let's just focus on that for right now. But, like, how many drops were there that you can just count off immediately?
3.
And they were all game-changing.
One was a first down on 3rd. Another was a touchdown. The other one was that pass that he did when he was like parallel with the ground, like sprawled.
Yep.
And threw it. And I think 2 out of the 3 I'm talking about hit dudes in the face. Like hit him in the face mask.
Yeah, directly in the face. It wasn't just like, it hit him in the hands. It hit Travis Kelce in the hands.
That's the 3rd one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just hitting guys in the hands. Like, what are you doing?
Well, that brings me to a weird stat. I don't know, maybe you have this one, but like I have one that I was going to use, but this one can't be left unsaid either.
Okay.
What's your weird stat? Does it pertain to Patrick Mahomes at all?
It does not pertain to Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, so weird stat right here, throwing it out, one of 2. The Chiefs did not convert a 3rd down pass until there was 5 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Really?
And I remember this because I was drunk.
Oh, that's right.
I was drunk, and I looked at you. I grabbed you. I said, look, that's their first completion on 3rd down. I can't forget this. How much time is on the clock? It was like 5:03 or something. Yeah. Okay? And, they got it, and that was their first one in the entire game.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Which also leads me into my second weird stat, which is we talked about Patrick Mahomes and his receivers dropping balls. We know that he was under pressure most of the game. How much pressure, you ask? Well, let me tell you that Patrick Mahomes ran for, 497 yards before his pass attempts and getting sacked. So like just in the backfield back there, just running back and forth.
So they snapped the ball to him, and that game he ran for 500 yards.
Almost. Just about.
Before throwing.
That's how much pressure he was under.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I hear, and this is, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, probably from you as well, but I hear the offensive line was banged up. And I get it. But this is how football is. Like, this is the game of football. Players get hurt, next man up mentality. It's like you got to play with what you have, you got to work with it. And did it attribute to the pressure? Of course it did. We saw what happened. But, like, is it an excuse that I'm going to be like, feel bad for you? No. Teams deal with injuries. They do. Now, the offensive line is it's not like I think you made this analogy, like wide receivers. There's 18 of them.
Yeah.
Right? Not with the offensive line. It's very limited. It's shallow.
I feel like that next man up mentality is definitely geared more towards these different positions. Like, how many times are you going to have an offensive lineman go out and it's just like, oh yeah, of course we have another guy to fill in right there.
Do you think that should be the norm, though? Because think about it. Who gets hurt the most besides running backs? Offensive linemen. They get rolled up on all the time. You know, they tear their labrums because they're blocking so hard. Like, they're always hurt.
It's real physical.
So maybe you should be deeper at, I'm not saying that's the Chiefs' fault. That's every football team is not that deep. I know, as a Raider fan, the offensive line's fucked up all the time. So it's like, I'm like, oh my God, who do we got? Now we got to throw fucking a defensive lineman in there maybe? I don't know.
It is everything going wrong on the biggest stage.
And that's kind of what happened, and that goes a full circle now back to the receivers and dropping balls, and the skill position players. Where were they? They weren't in the game.
There were so many things that they just could have done differently. I feel like what they did was, which I can agree with, number one. What they did is they came out and they had the exact same game plan as before when they played him. Because it worked, right? Tyreek Hill got like 200 yards in the first quarter. Don't overthink it, right? Maybe. I can understand that thought process. But it's also the Super Bowl, and you gotta do some things differently.
Well, especially against a team that is, obviously they're in the Super Bowl too, so they're a good fucking team.
Yeah.
A team that you've played before. Obviously, they're going to take away how you beat them last time.
Yep.
We saw this with Tampa Bay and the Saints.
Yep.
Got beat twice in the regular season. They go to New Orleans in the playoffs, corrected all those. Okay? They weren't going to get beat a third time. They weren't going to get beat a second time by the Chiefs. I think so much attention has been given to what we've been talking about. The receivers dropping balls, not showing up, not changing the game plan, but a lot of credit and respect obviously has to go to Tampa Bay's defense.
Oh, man. The way they schemed that up, I mean, they didn't have to blitz a whole bunch. They were getting pressure with 3 and 4 guys.
I don't think they blitzed at all.
I think
they
I can only remember
4.
one time that they did blitz, and it was on a third down, but it didn't look like any different. Pat Mahomes was running 30 yards back. That was like every second play. That's what it looked like. But that's the only blitz that I can even remember. They didn't have to. They were getting so much pressure.
It's wild to think they were getting that much pressure with the 4-man front line. And you think about, okay, they're rushing 4, so that's 7 in coverage.
And that's why I couldn't do anything.
No. You had a guy constantly shadowing Tyreek. You had a guy constantly on Travis Kelce. And they knew, and this is the game of football, like I said, Mahomes was hobbled, right? He's getting surgery on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So they knew that, so they were giving him the run. Like, they're like, go ahead, run out of the pocket. Like, you are not throwing a 60-yard bomb to Tyreek. You are not throwing first downs to Travis Kelce. If you want to run for it, good. Go ahead. We will swarm you, and you might get the first down, but you ain't breaking anything big.
They played 2 deep all night, the entire night, and played relatively steady in the mid-range, but like 0 to 10 yards. They kind of let that go. They're like, yeah, whatever. Go for it. I don't care. And they weren't even doing that properly. They couldn't do some of the short game things properly. And when they were able to move the ball, what killed them? Field goals. Field goals are a killer. People are always like, okay, it's points, but...
Ironic.
Yeah. But it's killer. I mean, you have those 3 field goals. Could have been 21 points.
Yeah. This brings me to my overreaction of the week.
Okay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have outlined how to beat the Chiefs, and they will never achieve the dominance that they've displayed in the past.
Okay.
Exposed.
Just have Pro Bowlers on your defense.
Yes.
And just get immaculate pressure while he's hurt.
Have we clarified that the overreactions of the week are just like overreactions? That I don't think this is true. I know I got to see the motherfucker. He's going to come back. That team's going to come back angry. It's going to suck.
See, yeah, I dig the overreactions because it's things that, I think, like, your overreactions are just like, I might have seen this and, like, this is an overreaction, clearly. Mm-hmm. My overreactions are just like, yeah, I'm going to go for it.
So what's yours?
My overreaction of the week is that this is another potential dynasty destroyed by Brady. And that Patrick Mahomes is going to end up like Russell Wilson, like Drew Brees, and just have that one. Like Aaron Rodgers, and just have that one.
You don't think that Mahomes will win another Super Bowl?
How many times has that been said about those three Hall of Famers? Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson.
I mean...
this is... Okay, look, Brady, to me, destroyed the Rams dynasty. They would have won 2 out of 3.
Oh, you're talking about Kurt Warner.
Years. Exactly. So they would have won 2 out of 3 years. Brady beat him. Beat the Seahawks to destroy 2 in a row. Beat Pat Mahomes to destroy 2 in a row. 3 dynasties. Because I think 2 in 3 years is a dynasty.
I can in the NFL, yes. The NFL is a different beast.
Exactly. It's hard to get to 1.
It's hard to get to 1. It's hard to play in 1, let alone win the whole fucking thing.
So I think 2 in 3 years is a dynasty. Brady's destroyed now 3 of them. Pat Mahomes is not winning another one.
Well, just to kind of, I want you to put it into better perspective. I know all this stuff, but for our listeners, tell them what you were telling me the other day about all those great quarterbacks and how many Super Bowls they've been to and have won. Right? You started with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's been to 1.
He's been to 1.
He's won 1.
He's won 1. The Packers have had Hall of Fame quarterback play for 30 plus years now, and they've been to 3 and won 2.
Right, and then you have Drew Brees, who's in the record books for like every record.
Everything.
And has been to 1 and won 1.
Been to 1, won 1. Yikes.
Peyton Manning, he's been to 3.
4. Peyton Manning, been to 4, won 2. And honestly, his play in those 2 Super Bowls that he won...
Not good.
Subpar.
I mean, that second one with Denver, the defense was the story of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And then Cam not jumping on that fumble.
Also that. He was just like, nah.
He was like, oh, this isn't the Super Bowl.
Ooh, I don't want it.
I'm not doing that.
But yeah, we have these quarterbacks. I mean, Big Ben, he has 2. He's been to 4. Or, excuse me, no, he's been to 3.
Yeah, he's been to 3. Speaking of Big Ben... I just want to see if we're still on the same page. Still think he's... Well, not me and you, but do you think our guy still thinks he's got 4 more elite years left?
This year wasn't elite.
Yeah.
This year wasn't elite, so I don't know where we're going to go with that, but, I mean, he's still a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, can't take that away.
Can't take that away from him. Absolutely not. But this year wasn't elite, so does that nix?
I think it nixes it.
Yeah.
Unless, like... Starting now, like this next 5 years, he's playing.
Starting now,
because this one doesn't count, like you said.
Bet.
There's no bet. He still might retire. He says he wants to come back, but let him sit there for a minute and really decide.
Oh, but yeah, that's my overreaction of the week. It's another ruined franchise. Like Brady is the Kawhi of the NFL.
Jesus, yes, I can.
Kawhi's
see that.
Ruined some franchises or some dynasties rather.
Dynasties, okay. That having been said, I guess we talk about the legacy of Tom Brady a little bit. I mean, we're here. I mean, we're going to get... I feel like the Super Bowl was not a good game, but we take things out of it. And we've talked already about how Casey didn't show up, how Mahomes could be a one-and-doneer like some of these other future Hall of Fame quarterbacks we've seen, and how the Buccaneers defense is great. Let's talk Brady for a little bit. And before we get into it, Ed had posed me this question that was going to be on the episode if we were able to record when the Super Bowl was decided, right? It was going to be Tampa Bay and Kansas City. And he said, Chris, as a Raider fan, who the fuck do you want to win this one? And obviously my answer was something along the lines of, like, I hope a meteor hits the ground, or they all get COVID, but live.
All the footballs get lost.
Yeah, like they can't play the game. That would be ideal scenario. But... I'll put it out there for the record, and some Raider fans I've realized this week Ed, disagree with me.
Really?
Yes, if I had to pick, I would want Brady to win it. This is how much I hate the fucking Chiefs. Okay, I've only been personally victimized by Brady one time. I was 12 years old, and he actually was on Peyton's Places like last week, and he admitted that it was a fumble. Do I forgive him? No.
Raise your hand if you've been hurt by Tom Brady.
Right. We have
Right
a support
here.
group. If you guys, call me. My number is, my number, maybe.
Reach out if you can help us get over this in our Tom Brady support group.
So, like, aside from that, I mean, it is not a terrible human being. Like, he had a mean tweet I saw. It was like, someone tweeted at him, and they said, I don't have any particular reason to hate Tom Brady. He's actually a really good guy. But I hope they break his legs. I think that's a sentiment a lot of Americans can run and feel, like, relate to. Because that's kind of where I'm at. He's never done anything. He's not a dad. Okay, I wanted him to win. That's the bottom line. Because that's how much I hate the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But Raider fans out there disagree with me. They still wanted the Chiefs to win. And to me, that's fucking blasphemous. Tom Brady's never played in our division.
It is. That is blasphemous. It's, 2 years ago I had this same conundrum. Rams and Patriots.
And this, of course, after the Super Bowl where you guys lost it.
Exactly, yeah. 3 years after that, yeah. So it's like, oh, no, yeah, go Patriots. No, fuck the Rams. They're a division team. I see them twice a year. I don't give it. Yeah, we got beat once. But, like, it wasn't Brady that really beat the Seahawks. It was like the Seahawks beat the Seahawks.
The Seahawks beat themselves, yeah.
For sure. Like, Brady got that ring. But I don't hate him.
Right.
I hate the Rams.
And it was easier to root for Tom because he wasn't a Patriot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my dad does hate the fucking Buccaneers because they did beat us in the Super Bowl.
That is true.
Like, he hasn't forgiven that at all. Like,
That's
I talked
true.
to him yesterday and he was fiery.
Yeah.
He was fiery.
There's no winners here. I mean, that kind of leads me into my other overreaction of the week. Excuse me, not overreaction. It leads me into my weird stat.
Oh, yeah.
This year, Tom Brady went, because they were 11-5 in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And then they won 4, so 15-5 on the year. 75% win percentage.
That was his lowest?
That actually lowered his career win percentage.
Oh my god.
His career win percentage was like 76.9. This lowered his career win percentage. By winning 15 games total.
Out of 19. Yeah. Out of 18. 19, whatever.
Yep. By winning 15 games, going 15-5, including playoffs, and winning the Super Bowl, still lowered his career winning percentage.
This is, okay, so, and that's another thing, too, about people that hate him, and because I'm on that list, but I can step back and appreciate what we are actually witnessing here. This is something we will never see again in our lifetimes.
It's unprecedented greatness. I don't know if we'll see it again. I don't know if it'll happen again. If this happens for hundreds of years, maybe,
Right.
But it is just, like we've talked about this before, but Tom Brady has now skewed what the NFL's sense of success is.
Yeah.
He's now won 7 Super Bowls.
Right.
Been to 10. And now people are thinking, okay, if you're not winning a Super Bowl and winning multiple Super Bowls, okay, scrap the whole team, build from the ground up. You need to get all these different pieces, need to do this. Oh, Tom Brady's done this. Oh, you should just do that. It is the perfect mix. It's the perfect storm for how his career has progressed.
And then you say it like it has skewed it, and I agree, because you think about the other sports and how hard it is, like we talked about, to get to a Super Bowl. And so 7 is just such an outlandish fucking number. And it's obviously not set at 7, but to be the greatest, it'll have to be more than that. You need to get like 3. 3 probably now.
Yeah.
To be considered. I mean, this isn't like basketball where like 6 is the standard because of Jordan. No one talks about Bill Russell's 11 because, 1, that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
2, there was only like 8 teams in the fucking league. Okay, so no one gives a shit. Like, yes, he's a great champion, Bill Russell is, but like we don't. That's not the standard. 6 is the standard. 7 cannot be the standard in the NFL. No one will ever do that.
There's no way.
So it's multiple though. That's the standard that he has set.
Yeah.
Like it used to be like he's got a ring, which is good, but now it's like it's good, which sucks.
Why can I not think of a quarterback that has 3 Super Bowl rings?
How many does Montana have?
4. I can only think of 2 and 4.
3.
Elway has 2.
Elway has 2.
Straight up cannot think of any quarterback.
I'm really trying to resist the temptation to Google it. I want to think about this.
Like, I mean, quarterbacks who have won multiple
Bradshaw
Super Bowls.
has
Bradshaw
four.
has 4. Okay, that's 70s. 80s.
Raiders won 2 in the 80s, so Plunkett has 2.
Montana has 4.
What about
Steve Young has 2.
He has 2.
Peyton has 2. Eli has 2. I don't. It's gonna be some weird. I can't think of a starting NFL quarterback that has 3 rings.
We need people to ring in on this.
Yes. Don't.
That was an accident.
Don't say that ever again.
Okay, it wasn't an accident. I did it on purpose. Well, as I was saying it, it dawned on me. I was like, oh, this is perfect. We need someone to ring in on this. Hit me up. Comment on the fucking Facebook or the Instagram or the Twitter. Name me a quarterback that has 3. And I'll give you a shout out and a high five.
Oh, shit.
Who?
Troy Aikman.
Troy Aikman has 3.
Yep. He's got... Right? He's got to. I'm pretty sure he has 3. All right.
Okay, now I'm fine. Now I'm going to look it up.
Yeah. He had 3 in the 90s.
I think that's right.
92, 93, and 95.
Aikman has won 3 Super Bowl titles. Well, there's that. So I guess that does talk about the legacy of Tom Brady a little bit. Like just to be able to step back and kind of recognize greatness when it's there.
It's nuts. I mean, yeah, if you're a fan of the game, you got to be able to be objective like 2% of the time.
Yeah, that's it. Only 2.
Yeah.
You got the whole other 98 to be a fucking angry, bitter person.
Yeah.
And that's me 99% of the time.
So how I just want to this could be a hot route, but I don't give a shit. How did this happen? How did Tom Brady go to a brand new organization and take them to a Super Bowl and win?
I think that we discussed it a little bit, this leading up to the Super Bowl and afterward. Whereas like that team was already kind of good. I mean, they didn't make the playoffs last year, but I mean, you talk about a quarterback in Jameis Winston who threw 30 touchdowns. And the problem with that was that he also threw 30 interceptions.
30 for 30.
So, yeah, they should make a 30 for 30 about that.
Yes.
They could call it 30 for 30. They don't even need to fucking title it. This week, the 30 for 30, 30 for 30. Anyways, that wasn't I mean, I got a great head coach in Bruce Arians. You have great coordinators in Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles. You have Pro Bowl defenders. You have an all-star studded supporting cast on offense, and then you add, Gronk, Antonio Fuckface Brown, Leonard Fournette, and I mean this is what you get. Brady, the crazy thing to me is that Brady never won with that much talent before. He's never had that much talent around him on the Patriots.
Never.
Besides maybe a couple of years when he had the 2 greatest tight end duo in history, and one of them turned out to be a fucking murderer.
Yep.
But I mean, let's be real. He's never had that in Patriots. So, like, I think that maybe I was selling him short, thinking he couldn't at least get to the Super Bowl with the talent around him. But I think for me, it was his advanced age. I didn't think he had it in him.
And I've talked with, different coworkers and different people, and there were select games throughout the regular season that was just like, do you think Brady's got it? Do you think he's too old? Because he made a couple throws a couple times that just ended up being highlighted. And during those times, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, of course, I called Brady going to the Super Bowl. But it was definitely like, I don't think it was a problem of his arm.
Right,
He doesn't have it's not an indication of his age. He doesn't have a Drew Brees like noodle arm. He's not having an issue there. He can still huck the ball downfield. He had the most touchdowns of anybody of over 20 yards in the air. Yes. He had, I think, 13 touchdowns of that.
They all come at the end of the half?
Probably.
Because he does that a lot.
Probably. But this is a Tom Brady that I don't feel like I'm used to seeing. Of course, he can throw it downfield. He can huck that thing. But I feel like he didn't really have these big threats like you're talking about. He had Randy Moss for a couple years, of course. Yeah. And he had those 2 tight ends.
And he would fucking throw to him.
Exactly.
And we did see that. But other than that, he had these underneath guys, these slot guys, these Wes Welkers and Amendolas. And
you look at his... I was looking at the NFL Instagram, a couple days before the Super Bowl, and it showed Brady's drive to beat the Rams to win his first Super Bowl.
I saw the same video. That was because I remember Madden saying, what Tom Brady just did is unbelievable.
Yep. It was diabolical.
They had no timeouts.
It was diabolical. It was precise.
Right, and this is, of course, everyone we're speaking about one of Brady's first rings. Which one was it? Because they played Rams in 2 Super Bowls, right?
No, they played the Rams.
And then the Panthers.
Okay,
so it was that first ring.
Yep.
And I think they had like less than a minute, maybe a little more.
I think it was like a minute 37, something like
that.
No
timeouts at their own 20. This is before they moved the touchbacks to the 25.
Yep.
So this is at the 20. Starting on his own 20, no timeouts. He gets them into Vinatieri's field goal range. And they win a walk-off in the Super Bowl. And everyone talks about, the excuses Brady has rings. Deflategate, Spygate, Vinatieri, Russell Wilson. We'll call Pete Carroll for that. But, like, it's the game. Everyone always remembers the last minute.
Yep.
Okay, no one remembers that drive you're talking about. Hopefully they fucking will now because we talked about it. And I hate the adoration and the fucking praise we're pouring on him right now, but this is what the guy fucking deserves, goddammit.
He is fucking diabolical. That's what he's done. He's always been that precise guy who will just straight up carve you up. That's what I'm used to seeing, and I mean, he still did that to the Chiefs, but now he just has an extended deep threat. Insane.
Yeah.
What do you do about this?
I don't know what you do about it. I do know that aside from some of the key players on that squad that we know are returning, they have a couple question marks. Mainly, Shaq Barrett was on the franchise tag this year, and then you have decisions to make on Fournette and Antonio Brown. So I'll ask you right now, of those two, I already know who I would say, but who do you keep if it's one or the other?
Between Brown and Fournette?
Yeah.
That is a. I mean, it's not like crazy difficult, but a case could be made for both of them. Definitely.
I think you absolutely stick with Fournette.
And I think you could definitely roll with that, and especially because I feel how the NFL is heading towards the running back position. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's heading more towards of that two-headed monster or by committee type deal, because then you're giving these guys. I mean, honestly, you're giving these guys less money. And you're getting more out of them because
they're not running the ball every fucking down and getting banged and battered.
Unless you're Derrick Henry, who's a fucking beast.
Yeah, he runs all 4 downs.
That's abnormal, okay? That is an outlier. We're not going to worry about that. But I think you would hold on to Fournette so you can keep Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, and you still have all these weapons in Godwin and Evans and Gronk.
Scotty Miller.
But they have all of these weapons that are... It's not unsustainable, especially because Mike Evans has already said he's like, yeah, I'll take a cut to keep this team together. But it is just insane. You want to keep all these pieces together, so you absolutely could get rid of Brown.
Right. And, I mean, I guess it's a vendetta with me, so fuck him. But, yeah, you keep Fournette for the reasons you said. The two-headed monster. Ronald Jones is a stellar running back. You keep Fournette and keep that dual threat. And we really don't. I mean, yes, Antonio Brown's scored a touchdown in that Super Bowl, but you don't. He wasn't like a necessary to that squad.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like he was pulling double coverage or anything. It was just kind of a.
We kind of can't when Mike Evans and Godwin are also on the field.
Exactly, and that's what's also insane. I don't know. I think Gronk's 6'7",
6'6" at least,
something like that. Mike Evans is 6'5".
Yeah, that dude's he's a tall motherfucker.
So it's insane, just the reach and hands that guy honestly has.
Yeah. Well, any guy really. I mean, these wide receivers that are that tall are freaks of nature. Yeah. You're talking about like DK.
Yeah.
And Megatron. And Megatron.
Julio.
And Megatron, now that I brought him up, I hope that everyone knows this too. I think you told me this, and then I heard people talking about it on different podcasts. In the time from when Brady won his first Super Bowl to the one he just won right now, Calvin Johnson was drafted, retired, and inducted into the Hall of Fame in that time. Now, if you don't know this about the Hall of Fame, people, you are not eligible for the Hall of Fame until 5 years after you retire. So, they're just putting that out there, how long Brady has played this fucking game. That a dude who's a Hall of Famer played an entire career and got to the Hall of Fame in between the first and last Super Bowl Brady just won.
Yeah, not even somebody's entire career, just in between 2 Super Bowl wins.
Right. And how long was Brady in before that? Like, was this like a second or third year player when he got picked up when Bledsoe went down?
I think so. Insanity. I mean, we can't speak enough to his legacy. It's insane. But I mean, kind of switching gears, because, we've covered the Super Bowl, kind of talked about Mahomes, talked about Brady. Let's go towards what, everybody's going to want to talk about. The Patriots. What do you think? What is the move? How do they come back? Like, of course, we can always talk about, of course, Tom Brady won this, divorce because he just won a Super Bowl.
I think it's the sample size is not big enough. Brady went to an established team. It's harder to, build a team as a head coach. Like, it's just different. It's like just different sports. Obviously, we're talking about football, the same sport, but you know what I mean when I say it's like two different things. To like go to a team and win as a player that's the team that's already established, and then being a head coach and losing your only bright spot, and then having to start from scratch. Now, as the Patriots, what do? It depends on how long you're willing to like suffer through mediocrity and failure. Does Bill Belichick start over and draft a talent and learn him up and teach him and cultivate a new franchise quarterback, or do you bring someone in who is established and maybe is run out of time where they're currently at? Now we see that I thought it was going to be Matt Stafford, but that didn't work out at all.
Yeah.
So now who's left? Carson Wentz is out there still. Deshaun Watson is looking for somewhere to go.
Yeah, maybe. I say hopefully, honestly.
Yeah, I would hope he can get out of Houston. I hope J.J. Watt also leaves and goes to the Raiders. Anyways. But yeah, I mean, it really depends on what Bill Belichick is willing to do. How long does he want to coach still? Because if he wants to coach for 5 years and beyond, then he should go the first route I said. If he wants to put a team together to compete in make the playoffs at all, then you go grab one of these guys, like a Wentz or a Watson.
So yeah, these are all the things that could happen. Say you're Bill Belichick, what do you do? I think he's 67, 68 years old. He's one of the oldest coaches in the NFL. What do? You
retire. You retire.
Okay.
What can you do? You're not okay.
Oh, I'm just saying, of those options, there's no way you have the time to dedicate to now getting a new potential franchise quarterback and wasting maybe 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. And it's because it's not just about the quarterback either. There is nothing on that team.
Yeah.
And they don't draft well.
Notoriously.
They don't draft well at all. I mean, it's not like the Rams who just trade all their picks. The Patriots keep their picks and just don't draft well.
They just don't draft well. That's just something that they have done. But I mean, it goes back to that quote that Belichick had said. He was like, yeah, we sold out for everything for these last couple of years, and we won 3 out of 5. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Most teams don't even have 3. Most teams don't even have 3 Super Bowl wins.
Right. And yeah, I think I retire. I just don't know if I could deal with the headache of. I mean, but this is Bill Belichick we're talking about. This is his life. Football is his life.
Yeah.
So maybe he does. But in all honesty, it's just the task is so tall. It's a tall task, and he already has a legacy. But if he doesn't win another one without Tom Brady, then history will look back and say Tom Brady won the divorce no matter what happens.
I think I can agree with that's how they would look at it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's how I would feel.
When we're watching it, we're just no, this is the perfect storm of everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're saying that now as it's happening.
Would Michael Jordan have won all of those without his coach?
Would he have won the 2 where he went to play baseball?
All of these cues up in the air. Who knows?
So, yeah, no. I mean, history is a cold, hard bitch. Right there. And so is hindsight. So it's just, yeah, I don't know what you could do. Like I said, though, maybe better off just retiring. 67, you still got some good years left to enjoy life. Maybe go into not broadcasting, but, an analyst. I'd love to have Coach Belichick talking about shit, because he knows his shit.
That would be one of my favorite things, because he would not give a fuck about anything.
Exactly.
And it would be the driest stuff, but the most interesting stuff.
Yes.
His tone would be so dry, but it would be breaking down things like nobody knows.
Right. I'm in.
I'm definitely in. Oh, let's also give a side shout out to Tony Romo. Super happy that he could
make it to a Super Bowl?
Yeah. finally make it to a Super Bowl.
He got it. Yeah, good,
Yep.
good man.
Yep.
That was great.
Tony Romo, he was my fave. He was my fave for a little bit.
Yeah.
So just happy for him.
Okay. Well, I guess it's time for the long forgotten to me segment. That's our favorite segment that we haven't got to do. So we've just been like asking each other this to each other. And it hasn't been as fun.
Yeah.
But it's about to be fun now. It's time for Hot Route.
Hot Route!
Blue 17! Blue 17!
What is hot route?
Hot route! Red 7, red 7, red 7! Hot route!
That's what we call a sacked lunch. Nom, 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 nom.
All right, shoot. I think you're giving me Hot Routes.
Yeah, all right. So I've got some hot routes. Whew, man. Felt good to say that.
Hot Route.
Felt good to just be back. All right, so this season is over. It was definitely one for the books. It was different than most. But now looking forward to next season. I mean, there could be so many questions about next season. Who do you think's going to do this? Who's most improved? Whatever, what have you. But it'll be a 17-game season. Thoughts?
I think that as the consumer, like I love more football. And it just dawned on me, my wife's going to hate that. But as a consumer and for the capitalists that are going to bank off this just means more money. You sell more merch, you sell more tickets if we get to attend games again, which I think we will be able to by the end of this year. I mean, from a business standpoint, it's great. For the players, I mean, the game is a lot more safer than it was in past years, and they're always doing innovative things to make the game all around, more safe. I keep saying that word, but I'm whatever.
I'm like, all right, you're giving me this nice corporate email answer right now. What do you think?
I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't need it.
Okay.
16 is a nice round number.
Divisible by 4,
Yeah.
divisible by 8, by 2.
Yeah, it's like, when do we say, okay, the first quarter of the season's wrapped up? Wait, no, it's not. Shit.
You got to wait until
A third quarter of game 5.
You got to wait until 4 games in 1 quarter. And then those other now we're going into like 6 games almost, and that could be a quarter. So, yeah, hey, you never know.
I don't know. You know how I am. I'm old school, old fashioned, traditional kind of guy who likes things like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's not like the NFL is losing money. They might have lost money this year because of COVID.
They absolutely did.
But that was every fucking professional sports league. So, but this is forever now. Like, this is gonna, I don't like it. Please stop it. Don't.
Would you, I mean, you're definitely the guy who was just like, back in the day, when we had 14 games, it was way better.
That's going to be me. When it was 16 games, I'm going to be saying it week 1. I'm going to be like, back in my day, they had 16 games in a season.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, that's it. I don't like it.
All right, hot route number 2.
I don't like that you called me out for giving a
Corporate email
diplomatic answer.
Yes.
Okay, continue with hot route number 2.
All right. There were a lot of awards given. MVP, offensive and defensive rookie of the year. Most of these people agreed with. Mm-hmm. Almost every single one. It's not, unanimous by voting standards, but you can definitely see Aaron Rodgers win an MVP. You can see Justin Herbert be an offensive rookie of the year. Chase Young, defensive player of the year.
Rookie.
Yes, defensive rookie of the year. Perfect. But that leads into the defensive player of the year. Mm-hmm. A lot of flack came for the decision to give it to Aaron Donald.
I agree with the flack.
You agree with the flack?
Yeah. So a lot of it was directed to, it should have been TJ Watt.
Yeah.
And I guess I can't say that Aaron Donald didn't deserve the award. Because Aaron Donald is a defense.
Okay. Yep.
There's 32 teams in the NFL, but really there's 33 defenses.
Okay, perfect.
So the thing with me is that he can win it every year. It's like LeBron. He could win MVP every year. But he doesn't. Aaron Donald won this year because, yes, he's great and he is a unit, but the numbers that TJ Watt put up beg to differ. Like, TJ Watt called, he wants his Defensive Player of the Year, and he brought, like, some stats over here. And he played one less game.
He did.
So, I don't know. I agree. I think that award should go to TJ Watt. I mean, shit. I don't even like the Steelers. I don't like anybody. If it's not the Raiders, I don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, this is, coming from me, definitely not the biggest Rams fan. I think it still goes to Aaron Donald. I do. I mean, yeah, TJ played one less game, and it's not that they're cherry-picking stats. These are major stats that they're going off of. But they're also, I mean, yeah, they're both defensive linemen, but completely different positions.
Right, TJ
defensive
is an
tackle
edge rusher.
and an end, you get so much less double teaming. You get so much less actual pressure, or you can more easily get pressure when you're on that edge. You can contain. It's going to be a lot easier for you to do that.
Put up those numbers.
And the fact that Aaron Donald's always going to be doubled. Always going to be doubled. And he is a unit, but what's kind of insane I always think about is he's not like 6'5" or 6'6", what I always envision him to be. He's like 6 foot, 6'1". So he, quote unquote shorter. I mean, vastly shorter than like J.J. Watt, but still putting up monstrous numbers.
TJ Watt for Defensive Player of the Year.
TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year. Call it in. All right, and for the third and final hot route. I mean, super long season, culminating in this Super Bowl that I don't think really a lot of people saw coming. The outcome of it.
If you said you did, you're a fucking liar.
You're a fucking liar. But, I mean, there's no way somebody's like, oh yeah, the Chiefs aren't going to get a touchdown.
Yeah, no one said that.
There's no one said that.
That wasn't even in a betting.
Yeah. Because that's just a dumb bet.
Yeah.
But I would say, or I'm going to ask, what was, if you had to pinpoint a single most surprising, maybe even play or concept, what was one thing that was most surprising to you from the Super Bowl?
From the Super Bowl?
From just the Super Bowl.
It was that Tom Brady has never thrown a first quarter touchdown in any of the Super Bowls he's played in until last Sunday.
Wasn't that insane? How is that possible? He's been to
10.
Previously, he
was
been
at
to
9.
And won 6 of them?
Yeah. Never threw a first quarter touchdown.
So you could basically say he's been down in every single Super Bowl except for this one.
I mean, but we're not accounting for maybe they ran touchdowns in.
Fair enough.
But still.
Insane.
Like, give me a span of games of, like, any 9 games in his career, like...
Where he doesn't have
a first quarter touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most surprising thing. That was quick because it's been on my mind since they revealed that stat during the game. Because I still can't figure it out.
You knew it was going to... As soon as they showed it, it was like, oh, well...
I was like, we're about to witness history, guys.
Yep. And it was with, like, a couple minutes left. Like, 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Right, it was close.
Yep.
I remember because we had a $1 bet.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, definitely that.
We'll have to explain the dollar bet system.
Okay, well, we're going to have a lot to talk about because football is over, so we're going to have to try to fill the sports episodes with basketball and hockey and...
the other ones.
The other ones. Yeah. So there's that. Maybe, and not even baseball season yet either, so...
Yeah, we still got some time.
Yeah.
But almost.
Spring training.
Yeah. But all right. Thank you guys for stopping by.
Yes.
Yeah, we're glad to be back.
It is nice to be back, and we will be back. I think we're changing the format up a little bit. Get back with me later on that. But we still will be having at least one episode every week. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Almost Agreeable. And please like, rate, and subscribe. Trying to get this thing back off the ground after our minor absence there, which was for health reasons, man.
Little hiatus.
We had to follow the rules like everybody else.
Yeah. But all right. As always, I'm Chris.
Shit. No, I'm Ed.
I was just thinking of what you always say, so that's why it came to me. As always, I'm Ed.
I'm Ed.
I'm Ed.
I'm Chris.
I'm Chris.
And this has been Almost Agreeable.
I was I was just like, what do you always say? As always, I'm Chris. I'm going to say that.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Almost Agreeable. You can catch new episodes every Wednesday and Friday. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Almost Agreeable.